The San Antonio Express News highlights all the information you need for the upcoming May 22nd joint primary runoff election. Conservative radio host Mark Levin catches Bernie businessman Matt McCall off guard, creating advertising fodder for McCall's District 21 opponents.
I've been trying to find out stuff about you, and I really can't find... I'm interviewing you. I really can't find out a lot.
San Antonio housing prices continue their hot streak as developers struggle to build enough new homes to satisfy demand. And a San Antonio pitmaster makes cooking brisket a nearly 24-hour affair.
I know I've had great brisket that was done in half that time, but I will say it was incredibly tender and the meat practically melted in the sandwich.
I'm Chance Dorlin with your Express Briefing for Wednesday, May 16th. Subscribe to this and other free content at expressnews.com/podcasts. And get each day's top news and sports headlines delivered to your inbox at expressnews.com/newsletters. The May 22nd runoff will decide the nominees for several county, state, and federal races, where no candidate received more than 50% of the vote on March 6th. The Express News provides full coverage of this month's races on our 2018 elections page at expressnews.com/election_2018. To find your voting location or view a sample ballot for Republican and Democratic voters, visit the Bexar County Elections Department website at bexar.org. San Antonio Express News columnist Gilbert Garcia says that while Bernie businessman Matt McCall, who is squaring off against former Ted Cruz aide Chip Roy in the Republican runoff for the congressional seat vacated by Lamar Smith, tends to be the aggressor whenever political haymakers get thrown, last week McCall walked straight into a radio ambush with syndicated conservative talk show host and Roy friend and supporter Mark Levin.
Here's my question. Anybody can come on here and tell me anything, and I believe everything you're telling me. But I went into Texas often. I worked with the Tea Party movement in Texas often. I just don't remember you.
The radio host found his moment about 7 minutes into the interview when he repeated his question for a list of the conservative actions McCall has taken. But realizing no answer would satisfy Levin, the Bernie businessman paused for 4 seconds before replying. By the following day, the Chip Roy campaign was using that exchange for a YouTube ad.
What conservative things have you done?
I've just answered the question for you, sir.
There is not an answer.
No, I'll stipulate from your perspective, I've done nothing on that.
In today's paper and online at expressnews.com, columnist Gilbert Garcia compares that exchange with Levin's February interview of Roy, where questions included information about the candidate's website and how supporters could donate to his campaign. Despite a shortage of homes on the market, in April, local home sales continued to soar, with nearly 3,000 houses sold in the San Antonio-New Braunfels metro area. With an almost 17% increase over April of last year, the market continues its 7-year hot streak, fueled by a growing local economy and population. Over the last few years, prices have also surged as developers struggle to build enough new homes to satisfy demands, hampered by a shortage of construction workers and available land in highly coveted areas of San Antonio, with the local market on track to set another sales record this year after a record 30,715 homes sold in 2017. And while barbecue enthusiasts preach the low and slow method and brag on the length of their cooking times, the pitmaster at the Dakota Eastside Ice House takes his brisket to extremes, making it nearly an all-day process. Alex March believes the only way to cook a proper brisket is to commit at least 21 hours to the process, with the smoker set between 180 and 220 degrees. San Antonio Express News columnist Chuck Blount highlighted what might be the longest brisket cook in Alamo City on today's episode of TasteCast, the Express News food team's weekly discussion of their insights about what's new in San Antonio food. Available for free download at expressnews.com/podcasts.
He says the key is that he takes about 3 hours burning up a full firebox of a mixture of oak, mesquite, and pecan wood. Once those coals are established, then he'll put the brisket on and simply add the logs as needed. Keeps the pit at about between 180 and 220 degrees, and he takes the meat off when it's at about 100 degrees internal temperature.
180 degrees.
Or 180 degrees. And what that means is that the meat is pretty much the exact same temperature as the air inside the pit, which is a pretty astounding feat that he's able to do that.
March, now 42, first began cooking barbecue as a teenager in the oil fields with his late father, Ray March, who taught him his process.
My father was in pipe and steel. He came from Missouri. He was born in Idaho. He built pits, and we did fairs and competitions, and it was just something he always wanted to do.
And that's your daily San Antonio Express News briefing for Wednesday, May 16th. Subscribe to this and other free content at expressnews.com/podcasts. I'm Chance Dorland.